listening ear and think, or listening to what it is that he has to say. So, Mr. Mukango, thank you very much for what you submitted, and we are very happy that you came on board to be able to air your mind. This is a comfortable space, and you are welcome anytime to air your mind like you just did. And in as much as we would like to appreciate it or not, each and every one of us have their own various opinion about the core team, and we are entitled to our own opinion. So thank you once more. Thank you, Hoodie, for giving me the mic.
Hmm. Yeah, thank you. Um, from my end, I feel like, um, it's like I mentioned earlier in this space, at the beginning of the space, not this link, the previous link that I ended, that the environment is actually becoming more and more uh, disbelieving for pioneers, very skeptical, and people are becoming more and more confident that open network is not coming 2024. And I explained some reasons why I can understand that the core team breeds this kind of environment with their withdrawal of information and probably until the last minute until when they are ready. And I give an analogy with how the environment was in 2021. Mokwan, I don't know if you were here in 2021, but it was pretty much the same, right? Yeah, people expressed the same sentiment as you just did. In fact, even as far as the third week of December and the beginning of the fourth week, there are people expressing such sentiments. Even after Christmas Day, 25th, because some people kind of rationalized uh, as a way to console themselves that okay, maybe it might be a Christmas gift that the minute will be launched. And after that, people became wary and because there was no sign, nothing. There was nothing to tell that these people had actually worked hard to achieve the minutes that they said they were working hard to do. But behold, when the mainnet blockchain came, we saw that it had been live 1 year prior. It had already been live since December 2020, right? Um, and then it kind of gives the insight that the core team would always withdraw information. They would not. They don't really care about reinforcing the confidence and convictions of pioneers who may not hold them, who may not hold their word credible. Right? They would just put out the information and they would let things play out. But what they say that they're going to do, they usually end up doing when it's something of such a scale. Right? That's what me I've learned from my own personal experience, right? From my own personal observations with them. And like I reiterated at the beginning of this space, just anyone who doubts, I think that the core team will not come out to give a timeline if they did not already know what they were going to do or present, or if they did not already have what they were going to present in that timeline, like it was in 2020 December, when they said they hope to achieve the mainnet blockchain within a year. And throughout that year, their their verbal and non-verbal language was we're working hard, we're trying, we're trying to do this, trying to do that, trying to do this, trying to do that. But in truth, it was already there. It just did not let it out. So what I see right now is the same game being played. Right? Why? I don't know. For reasons best known to them. And this is just one angle of how I can explain my convictions of why they are not just playing us, right? Uh, in fact, they are much more invested in this than anybody else. How much did we invest in this compared to the core team who are actually doing the work of building all the technologies that is backing the network and all of these things? We can come on here, do spaces, post about Pi, mine, refer people, but also the core team are writing codes upon codes upon codes, coming up with strategies, brainstorming, basically building the scope of the entire network that we are playing in right now. And I don't think anyone would benefit more than the core team if they actually launch the open network. So it's not actually in their interest to just withhold the open network, because if it's about us making profit from our pie, they have a shitload of pie, more than us, way more than us, right? They have hundreds of millions of pie that would be available to them right now based on the available allocation that we, the community, have gotten from our 65 billion pie allocation, and based on the locked and unlocked pie available. So at least they should have a few hundreds of millions of pie available to them based on that. Right. So if there's any benefit that we are going to get from our few hundreds of pie that we have in our wallets, can best believe that they are going to benefit 100 times way more than that. But so they benefit from the open network even more than us, because they've been working on this for years, right? So I don't see it as they are playing. This is my view. I don't know if I'm able to resonate with you or appeal to your reasoning, but this is my view of how this whole journey to open mainnet uh, is. I feel like what the core team is going to announce by the end of the year, they already have it ready. It's already there. They already know what it is, and they're just waiting for that time. But they are not letting it out for us, and because of that, because of no information, pioneers are skeptic, pioneers are speculating, and that's the reason for the kind of environment that we see right now in the community. But we've seen it before. Yeah. Um, Crypto 90, your hand has been up. I feel like you want to comment on this.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for giving me the mic. Now, for my own perspective, I don't see that. I don't see the co team purposely the one delaying the mainnet. We should understand that these guys are building. These guys are not just. They are not just silent, or they are not just. They are building something. And remember, the KYC application, due to what Mr. Mukwan said, that if they want to migrate to KYC, 10,000 people per day, that they can do it. We should understand that these people are building. This is a new project, and they just built the KYC application new. So the KYC application needs to learn the system. We are the one to feed that KYC application with the right information, which is our document, so that the application will be able to run a smooth and fast KYC verification. Now, when you come, you don't have to say that code team are purposely are purposely other. I know that these guys have invested huge amount of money. Even they have also invested their time more than us, working day and night, making sure that what they want, what they are through they are through actually to build exactly a nice project, what they dreamed, what they want Pi to become, not just what we wanted. Most of us are just talking about Pi minute per minute just to sell off, why these guys are building something that will serve humanity for a long run. So for me, I believe that the Pi team are trying and are doing their possible best to make sure they get everything done in the right way, to make sure that they give us the best. They want the best. That is on my own perspective. Remember, on their last Pi Day 2, which the announcements were made, that Nicola said that this will be the last Pi Day 2, which even this December is not yet done. We are still on December, early age. Anything can happen from now till 31st, or from now till January. Which for him to say that the open last Pi Day 2 was the last open minute, they know what they are doing. We should not be in a rush. I think we should just do our own part of the work, which is to mine, to also validate and do our KYC with the right information, and let these guys do the best. They know what they are building. They started it, they know what they are building, and they know when the food is ready. Whenever they are done with it, and they know that this is the time we should go to open minute, this is the time we have gotten what we want. I believe that the open minute will take place, and we should understand this enclosed minute first. Most of us haven't understand what Pi Network is all about. Most of us are still seeing it as other coins, other speculative coins, which we just go to open mainnet. These guys are trying to let us understand that we can use Pi to purchase goods and services as a means of payment. That is one thing we should understand, that they want us to adopt it to get that knowledge. Not just the knowledge you have now is the knowledge of other coins which end up listing on exchange and we sell off and look for another one. But these guys are trying to do something in a new way, setting a new narrative in the history of cryptocurrency, which I wish everyone should understand, that they are not just silent, or they are not just there. They are there working on a low key. And remember, they say that they don't want extra noises. That is why they are just focusing on what they are building. For me, I believe we should give the Pico team time. We should give them that respect. We should allow them to build the best. I believe they know the best, and see how it goes. The year is not yet finished. With that time, tomorrow they may come up open minute. They may come up to announce open minute tomorrow, which we may not know. So we should just relax and keep doing our own best, and let them do their best and give us the best. Thank you. Let me hit my mic for you.
Hmm. Thank you, thank you. Mukwana, I don't know how you feel about the feedback
Yeah, yeah. I appreciate.
you've
I
been
appreciate.
getting.
I appreciate the feedback. But if we are all Pi community, I'm sure the majority believe the sentiment I had. I personally, I have a community of over 1,000 Pi community members. Now, in this community that I have, we are only about 200 who have passed KYC, and the rest, they have waited and waited, opened up every day, waiting for the slot. Up to now, they have not got. Others now they have given up about fine. Don't tell them anything about Pi. They say, okay, when they go live, we shall come back when they're serious. Because now imagine that pain you go through every time you're waiting for KYC. You've been with a project for over 3 years. You've been in the project, you're waiting for KYC, and you're not seeing it. And they're talking about KYC, and they're confronting the KYC as a main metric to take us to open minded. But that those ones who have waited for over years, they're not getting their slots. Now, put yourself into the shoes of these people. How they feel? You're saying the key metric is you have a target number of KYC that you want people to do. And now people are willing to do the KYC. But now this KYC, they just hear about it. Few of us who are lucky, who have done it, we've known how it goes. But now the majority of the numbers who are blocked. Okay, they are blocked. They are not successful. They're not getting the slots. They've opened the app ever since. Actually, people have lost more morale when they announce for that KYC thing. People have to do the KYC. Actually, it's the one which has now demoralized people so much, because every time you're hearing that the main metric now by KYC. Now, people want to do the KYC and not lost. What do you think about that? So that's my submission, and that's my focus, and I'm representing those ones who are in my community who have waited. Because I personally, imagine over that, over 1,000 people who have not done KYC. If they do the KYC, where will I be? Or where will they be? And even those 1,000 people, they also have their own community have recruited into Pi. They're also waiting for KYC slots. They're not seeing them. Now, what do you expect such people to think about Pi? They talked about they show opening my mind. Of course, they announced it earlier. One the ones who are pushing for it. They business. Once by the time you're mentioning something, people build hope on that. And the longer it takes without people seeing it, the more doubts people develop into them about what you talked about. So we are all in business here. Time frames very, very important. Once you commit yourself to a time frame and the time frame reaches and nothing is done, believe me, you're going to lose the clients. However good your project is, as long as you don't respect the timeline. You say this and you give it time reaches and nothing happens, and you expect that you're going to keep the same community, you will not in business. The community will keep on dropping, dropping, dropping. Like recently, there was a project, it was called Overline. Now, one of my friends shared it with me. Now, I had to do a lot of research about it. And one time I said, but the way these guys do their things, they're not so open to the community. Because you come on Twitter and then you mention something, immediately they ban you. Now, when they're having a space, every time we would have a space with them, there were only two people who would talk. And these two people, they were the ones who were owning the project. Now, when they talk to themselves. They don't give opportunity to the community, maybe to ask them, as a question, interact with them live the way we are interacting here. Now, me, I told the community which recruited me that in that overlying thing, I told them this project is a scam. Now, they almost hit my head. So later, I think it was January this year, when the real scam revealed within that overlying thing. Now the person who was so hard on me was one saying, "Hey Isaac, for you so they think you're right." Then I told them, "Me, I'm not putting much money into this thing." And those guys pumped a lot of money into it. And now they realized later on when they're in tears, and they were the ones who were going to call me and say, "Yes, Isaac, what you talked to us, true, and we blamed you, and we're so hard on you." Yes, we've not put much money into Pi, but the time we've invested in is much. Like some of us who have a lot of things to do. If I can open an app in a day and maybe do that time only. So they came and announced there, open, like I'm comparing two scenarios. Those people of Overline in that project, they also announced that our mainnet is going to happen. Time for the mainnet happening reached, they had no answer. And now they began having issues with their community. You told us like this, then they kept on postponing and postponing until now the project is offline. You can't get those people. So we are, as a community, these projects were not the ones who began them, but we all of us just come and then network and join together. So the people who began the project, we don't know their motive and what they want to be. We don't know. As much as they give us a good picture, but at the end result of it, we don't know. We don't know where they want to be. At the end, you and me maybe I'm trying to write something. We shall be the ones again crying to each other. Say, "Hey, you man, these people were like this. These people were like this." So that is it. This is what I've talked here. Even if you go to the communities, something that is common. Even if I'm to invite the community here, my community, even if we were to do a space with them, I invite you to talk to them, you'll see what they will say, the sentiment. Okay? People are deleting the app, no longer interested in it. Okay? So those are the things we have to focus on as we, because we are community as one. Because tomorrow we are going to cry together or we are going to complain together. I respect Pi and the team. I respect them so much. But of course, every time you drag on a project for too long, the longer you drag it, the, the easier the hope goes away from the people. Because as much as you're here and you're saying for you're patient enough, all of us who are here who are looking at that time, they will say the pie is $100. That is business. That's what brings us here. That's what brings you here. We are not here just no one is in this pie community just to enjoy the name pie. We are looking pie as an investment. We are looking at pie as something that is going to change our lives. We are looking at pie as something that maybe the time I've spent in it, I'll go back with something home, not going back without anything. So that is what motivates us to be here. That's what motivates the community. Like for me now, out of all my community, there are very few people who are having the app. Even there is one or the others with cases who are like they feel coming back. But again, recovering the account is another challenge to them. Some end up again opening other accounts. So there's so many issues that are pending on, especially on that thing of KYC. Our major concern is why are we blocked or why are others blocked? If it's KYC, let it be open. Let people do KYC. If the system, the time they have spent, because now KYC we are going to 1 year plus. If the system cannot accommodate the numbers, find ways of making a system that accommodates the larger numbers. I'm sure 10 billion people can do KYC within 1 day. I'm sure. Because at least I'm also from a tech background. There is nothing stops do KYC within 1 day. These things are possible. But when you go beyond and think beyond your nose. You know that sometimes they're just restricting people. They don't want that number maybe to come very fast and here and there. But once you specify and you say the deadline is this, like now they say we are launching in 2024. People looked at the first quarter, people looked at the second quarter, no communication. Up to now, ever since they communicated, I've never, but only in that communication, they say we want KYC this for our opening a mainnet. Yes, 2024 hasn't gone, but I highly doubt if we shall go live within these next 3 days. I appreciate all the feedback. Thank you so much.
Yes, please, Mr. Woody, let me just come in here. Let me just come in here. Now,
Okay.
Mr. Wana, for
Ma-
what all you have said, from the beginning, most of the issue why some of us are under pressure due to our downliner, most of the issue is the information you give your downliner when referring them. Some of us will tell our downliner, this thing will make you rich overnight. This thing will do you, once you are mining Pi, you are a billionaire. And within how many years, Pi will launch and you will be a billionaire. Now, if you remember, from the onset, the Pi coating said that Pi is not a free money. It's a long-time project. It's a long-time project that the success depends on the collective idea or the collective contribution of its members. Now, you and I are the members. Now, when you come to what these guys are doing, the team have never changed from the onset. What they do, once there is an announcement, they will come and give you the announcement. Then they will keep doing what they are doing. And remember, Pi Network team did not say that Open Mainnet will be in 2024. They say that if the requirement is being met, that the Open Mainnet will go live. So for me, I think that requirement have not been met. I think that requirement is still they are still working on it for it to be actualized. So people saying that the Pi team say that they will be what they said. They said if the conditions, if the requirement of the Open Mainnet is being met, that the Open Mainnet will go live. That was what the Pi code. I just want to correct you on that side. That was what they said. And Pi Network has been this the way of their communication has been for the same thing from the origin when I started mining Pi Network. And anybody mining Pi Network should have known that the Pi team started that if you are looking for a quick way to get money, you should look elsewhere. That the Pi Network is a long-term project, which its success depends on each and every one of us. So, like you are saying, some people have not been gotten the slot, the KYC slot. That's what I said. They are just this a new application that they just built, that they are trying to get it perfect, to get it right before allowing it, before allowing that much mass KYC, which you think okay. Some exchanges now, when a coin is being listed, you see how some exchanges will just go down just because people are logging into that app to participate on claiming their coins and other things, and the exchange or the particular side will just go down. That is to tell you how massive the community, the crypto community is. When you come to Pi Network, you see how we have almost the KYC application can accept 1 million or 110,000. KYC verification is this. I don't think so. That requirement that the Open Mainnet will go live. They never said that it's going to go live 2024. So let me hit my mic. If any other person have anything to say, the person can say. Thank you, Mr. Wood, for giving me the mic.
Thank you tonight. I just want to give some nice background and context regarding this whole picture, this whole thing. Yeah. Someone's mic is on, please mute it. Um, so you see, even I myself, I have a large community. I have so many
Ow, ow,
referrals
ow, ow,
on my
ow.
Pi, right? I'm sorry. Just kindly hold on.
Very good. Yeah, I've heard. Now, yes, you have.
Kindly mute your microphone.
Now, you just tell us within your community how many have passed KYC and how many have overweighted.
So you see, first of all, I don't really bother myself too much about how a single individual in my community is feeling regarding this KYC and all that stuff. Uh, like somebody mentioned, there was a kryptonite maybe based on because of the kind of teaching and education that I was providing from the beginning to the people I referred to Pi Network. And I believe that after you've gotten that education, how you manage yourself or how you choose to respond to things, it's up to you from there on. All right. As for me, I have my own cross to carry, and I feel like yes, we are a community, but everybody in the community actually have their own individual cross to carry. Because at the end of the day, the part that you mind is for you alone, right? So now, one thing that I've always emphasized upon is that participation in Pi Network is how you win. If you don't participate, you don't win, or you win less, or if you're not prepared enough, right? This enclosed mainnets and building phase is an opportunity for people who have the resilience to actually be prepared. There are those who will not have the resilience and they will give up, they will let emotions carry them away and they're feeling, oh no, this shouldn't be that, this should not be that. But if a pioneer actually has caught a hold of the vision of where the network is going and is prepared to commit, to do whatever it is to get there along with the tri-core team, then emotions emotions should not be the impediment for what makes them to lose out on what they could have gotten just because they were feeling that some people have gotten KYC. Just kindly mute your microphone. There's some background noise. Some people have gotten KYC and they have not gotten. I waited for KYC for a very long time. I can't even remember. I think over 2 years. I waited like a year and some months before I even got eligible. When I got eligible, I was in tentative for over a year. Right? I never for once said, "Oh, I can see everybody have so many people have done KYC. They have migrated. They are enjoying their pie, and I am there." And it made me stop, participating in building the network. Please kindly mute your microphone, Mukwana. There's background noises.
I think you should just mute
Okay, I would have
everybody.
to. Yeah, I will have to mute you myself, Mukwana. When you're ready to speak. Oops, I can't mute him. I thought I could mute an individual person. I can't see the option to mute an individual person.
Yes,
Okay,
you
hold
can.
on. I'll mute everyone. Okay, I've muted everyone. Now I've unmuted. Now whoever needs to speak needs to unmute their mic themselves. So, um, it did not stop me from preparing and participating in the network. Trust me, I've been preparing for Open Network for a long time. I have been preparing, despite regardless of my KYC status or migration status, it did not affect me. Now, this is the advantage. Lots of pioneers have been, doing one thing or the other to prepare for Open Network, and whenever the Open Network comes, they are going to get the benefit of their preparations. But these pioneers who are carried away by emotions that, oh, we've not done KYC and they are let down, they're talking about deleting the app, like you said, some have even deleted the app and all that. When Open Network comes, they will see their mates, the people that were mining along with them, getting the benefits from their preparations, why they would not have any of such benefit, and they may even continue another phase of whining and nagging and all that. Whose fault is it? It's their fault because they could have just ignored their emotions about KYC and continue to prepare if they actually wanted to win in the network and they would have gotten the benefit. Everybody has their cross to carry at the end of the day, right? Look at, I'm sure many people here will be familiar with the parable of the 10 virgins in the Bible. If you're not a Christian, maybe you may not be familiar with it, but you may also be familiar. Look at the 10 virgins in the Bible. It should be five They were waiting for bridegroom. They called one for the five uh, patients. I can't remember how they describe it. But there were 10 virgins and they were waiting for bridegroom, right? And they were supposed to go to one place to go and wait for the bridegroom. Five of them carried lamps with oil in their lamps, enough oil. They carried extra oil for their lamps, not just one. Carried extra with the mind that if the bridegroom delays, at least they will still have oil to fuel their lamps for the night until the bridegroom comes. While the other five, who let's say the other five are these pioneers who are complaining about KYC and their emotions and they want to delete the app and all that. Then the other five virgins that did not carry extra oil for their lamp, as it was in the Bible. Now night came, they waited and waited, and the five who did not carry extra oil, their lamps went out and they did not have oil. But the other virgins, they had oil in their lamp and they continued burning their lamps to wait. So when the five whose lamps have been extinguished so that they didn't have lamps, they went to the other five who had extra oil to borrow oil. They said, please, can you borrow us oil for our lamp so that we can, you know, wait diligently for the bridegroom along with you. But they said, perhaps this oil that will be carried may not be enough to share and use for them and for the ones who were asking to borrow. So they advised that those ones who did not have oil, they will have to go and buy oil so that they can fuel their lamps. And off they went. They went out to go and find oil to buy for their lamp. And in the time that they went out to go and find oil to buy, that was when the bridegroom came. And those who had extra oil, they were prepared. They followed the bridegroom and entered into the feast, and doors were locked. When the other people came back from buying oil, they saw that feast don't start. Bridegroom has come, and doors were locked. And they tried to get in, but the bridegroom said, "I don't know any of you," and they were rejected. It's a lesson for preparation. Those who were prepared to go the extra mile, they got the benefits. Those who were not, they did not have the foresight and diligence and and discipline to go through whatever delays that would have come. They lost, and it's nobody else's fault. It is their fault, right? So it's just like assuming go back to 2020 when the Pi team said we're going to launch the mainnet in 2020, and they were behaving like this in the first week of December, even though 2021, sorry, even though the year had not run out yet, but they had already given up. They were deleting their Pi apps. But at the end of the day, December 28th came, mainnet blockchain was launched. They did not have the patience to even wait until 2 days or 3 days before the end of the year. This is 23 days to the end of the year. We are seeing the same thing play out again. They are not patient enough. If they want to delete their account, they can. I don't pamper my referrals, right? I just send a message. Anybody that wants to do should do. If you want to do your KYC, if you don't want it, go. I know that I have provided all background education years before to let everyone know that this is something for the long haul. This is the vision of where we are going. Those that believe in the vision, they continued mining till dates. They are still mining. They have done their KYC. Some have not even done their KYC, but that has not stopped them from mining, from anticipating. But those who have stopped mining, they deleted their app. They even forgot their password. Now they are trying to get back to login because they saw that there's a deadline, but they've forgotten their password, and the login option is not even working. Now they are stuck. Some are trying to actually save their Pi now. They cannot get in. They are locked out, just like the five virgins have been. How did they call them? Five bridesmaids. They were locked out from entering the feast because they were not prepared. So at the end of the day, we're a community. We try to look after one another, but everybody has their cross to carry, right? I have my conviction that has made me continue to prepare for open network despite waiting over 2 years to be able to be fully KYC verified. All my preparations that I've been doing, I will get the benefit of it. Whoever did not prepare will reap what he has sowed. He may not get as much pie, or he may even lose his pie from not meeting the deadline, whatever it will be, right? So I don't. This is not something that we should be moved by just because some people in our referrals in our community are complaining and all that. If they have the right education, they should wait. If they have the right education and they still can't wait, that's on them. All of us will carry our cross. So I just wanted to sum that up with this um, context and parables from the Bible, so that let us stay jiggy, right? So yeah, that's it, Mukwana, from my end about this. Uh, Anybody has any other contribution again?
Yes, can I go ahead?
Yes, if core.
GMGM, everyone. Well done, Mr.
Yes,
Wu,
CMG.
Mr. Benjamin, Pipe Card, Crypto Knights, Isaac, and everyone that has made a contribution. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you for creating this platform this morning to educate people on Pi Network. Uh, I want to start my submission by saying, in the crypto space, you must leave your emotion aside. Crypto saves doesn't think about your emotion. It doesn't think about how you feel. The dev, the team, there is only one goal they always have, is to make sure that their project is successful. I feel that majority of us who tend to criticize a project is simply because perhaps you have not been able to be a team member, or you have not involved in a project before that requires commitment, time, resources, and money to be able to make a project be successful. I think I'm one person that in the past I tend to take Pi mining for granted because I want to say I don't have much knowledge back then when we started mining Pi back as 2019 to 2020 that I started. At some point, I think 2022, I was beginning to think that why are these people taking this long? Why will you be mining Pi almost 3 years, 2 years plus now? They are not. And I started taking it for granted. I didn't buy Pi for some time. At some point, when I meet some reasonable people on the space, they help me to understand that I need to prioritize knowledge over my emotions and my feelings. At that point, I started digging and doing research, read more, and I come to realize that I have actually taken Pi for granted, and I took it serious at that point. Not quite long, I did my KYC. I can't even remember when I did my KYC. The first part was migrated. I started becoming a validator. I validate so many people. Now, for some of us that have community, like Crypto Night, the information, please, can somebody mute this mic? I think for Vice, easier. Can you mute your mic, please? There is a noise on your back.
Mukwana, can you meet your mic, please?
Mokwana, Isaac, please, can you mute your mic? Can the co-host help us mute his mic? So, as I'm saying,
Yeah, everyone was muted. So, speaker, you may need to unmute your mic and continue speaking.
all right. So, I feel that we need to prioritize knowledge. Of recently, a friend reached out to me, and Mr. Ben can be a testify to that. He's on the space right now. And I tried to reach out to Mr. Ben, and we got talking. Did you know that just in a space of 2 days, I was able to know what it means to develop a project, the sacrifice, the money involved. And when these people got talking to some people about partnership and what have you, it got to my mind that to rent a hall cost them 15 million naira. If that is to take place, they are going to rent a hall of 15 million naira. Now, If I was not privileged to be in that space for just 2 days to get this information, I wouldn't have known that these people are working on the ground to make sure that they make this project come to light and successful. Yes, Pi may have taken 5 years. Pi may have told you that they want to do these things by the end of this year, give you an impression, even though they've not come out outrightly to tell us the specific date yet. But based on assumptions and what you have around with some little statement, you are putting 1+1 together, you are trying to capitalize on it and feel that it must be. My brother, did you know that individually, even when you plan on a daily basis, it doesn't go as you planned? There are sometimes you have put basic arrangements in place. Have you seen people who do wedding? They give wedding planners, event planners, pay them money, put some coordinators, and what have you. And you still find that on that wedding day, there are still some mistakes. Was it because they didn't plan well? No. It's simply because there are some things that inevitable. You just have to manage the situation. Yes, if you said some people have been deleting the app and they lose interest, my brother, one thing I believe is if your market or your goods is unique in the market, it will sell himself, whether you believe on it or not. The sincere people who see the project, who see the truthfulness of that project, will come back. Let your product set itself. Don't persuade people. When you persuade people too much, it tends to be as if you are having an ulterior motives. Some of you know that have community. When you are talking about a particular project, go and mine this particular project, go and mine this coin. He's an alpha, he's this. You keep talking, you keep persuading people. Do you know that people will start asking that it's like this guy, they've paid him, oh, he has an ulterior motive. Why is he always talking about this particular project? Why is he always emphasizing on it? They tend to question your integrity. They tend to question your loyalty. I believe the Pi team are not after that. They are building a project. Some people will testify to it on this space that when ICE network, when we are mining ICE, I remember some people who do not understand the project were saying, they are scammers, they are this, and they are that. Before you know it, they delete you. An example was Magic Kryptonite. If those who know Magic, I was following him. He talks a lot about Pi. He has mined over 1 million Pis. But what happened when he comes and speak trash about them? They block him straight away. Because why? He has not prioritized knowledge. He was thinking about his emotions, what he stand to gain. My brother, it is not what you stand to gain in this project. Oh. Focus more on what these teams are building. Focus more on what they are trying to bring to the society. Focus more on the solution they are trying to solve, the problem they are trying to solve, the solution they are bringing to the community. When you focus more on that, it helps you to keep your emotions on check. But today now, many people are talking about ICE network. Go and check what they are building. Among all the OGs who have criticized it, they will tell you, go and bank highs. You're already a millionaire if you should have highs as part of your portfolio. Because if you see what ICE is bringing, this is the same project many people deleted, criticized, talk about. I am happy that this space is on record. Some of you will still have reference to come back. That I talked about it. Some people have talked about it. Now everybody is trying to go enter and scatter, buy small highs and keep and what have you. But these are some things you've mined free back then, but you didn't take it serious because you feel like they are not transparent enough. See, whether we like it or not, they don't owe us any explanation. Oh. They don't hold us any explanation. If any of us is building a project, you don't hold people explanation out of your care, out of your love for the fact that these people are following you, they believe in your project. It is on that basis you are carrying your community along. But on the norms, they do not hold us
any explanation. But because we believe in them, the concern they have for us makes them to start carrying us along and tells us things they are doing. Because we know, yes, that a project need a community, but not a community that is entitled. It is a community that believes and that is pioneering a project. So as a leader in your community, in your small community, try to keep your emotions on check. One, it will help you to help your followers to keep their emotions on check. Whoever deletes the app will come back in the next 5 years and regretted the decision. I believe some of us then who know about BTC, a lot of us has that opportunity to buy BTC, Bitcoin then, but many people do not buy it. Even when you still see it at $40,000, $20,000, $5,000, and many people are still regretting it today because they didn't take advantage of that opportunity. Now, talk more of now. Everybody has it clear. You see, the government want to bring their reserve into in stocking BTC. You see, governments of each country or the other talking about this project. If you know what Pi team have been doing for the past 5 years, you will see that their goal is nothing more than for them to be successful. We all know what is worth doing well. Let us try as much as possible in this part of the country, Africa, keep our emotions on check. Let us focus more, read more. Tell your community to read more. If it has not gotten to your turn for you to do KYC, if you have been waiting, doesn't mean the project is a scam. There are some glitch in the system that happens, not because the team have not done what they need to do. They've done it, but brother, there's what we call human error. It's inevitable. The system that is programmed can tomorrow misbehave, not because you've not done the things well, but because humans can always make mistakes. So we shouldn't expect that the fact that they unbundle, like one of my friends that have been trying KYC for the past 2 years, just sent to me yesterday that, and he submitted his KYC, I should say, like 3 months ago again, because he has been doing it. Often they will say he didn't meet up requirement. I had to drive down to his place to help him. I can't even count how many people that I've helped, that I have to spend money to walk up to them, because sometimes when you explain to them on phone, it becomes so difficult. In fact, it's a waste of time. I went to some people's offices, houses to help them to make sure that they did their KYC. Just yesterday, he screenshot to me that he has passed the KYC. I was happy for him. So if you have thousands of people, wait patiently. If you get to their turn, fine. If eventually do not get to their turn, fine. Not every one of us that have started the race will win the race. Not everybody. Not everybody will get to the finishing line. Like the example my brother gave, among the virgins. They prepared well. That's why they were able to endure to the end. They were able to see the bride. Not because you have not done what you want to do, but because we are living in a system that everybody cannot be served equally. Until you have that fact, until you realize this truth, when you see a project that doesn't go the way you expected, don't criticize it. You don't know what they've put in. You don't know what they've spent. You don't know what they've been doing to get to the point they were. Please reshape the mind of your community. Tell them to wait patiently. Tell them to do what they need to do. Like my brother said, there are some countries that they do not have a very good ID card. And some, even if they have, they could not have an access to it. Like Nigeria, for example, not everybody has national ID card. Even the, what's it called, NIN. Some people are still having problem till today. Imagine those people mining Pi now. How would they be able to do what? To pass their KYC. Some just look for one way or the other, look for some ID card and do it, and yet they are still stuck. Even me that I'm talking, my wife KYC has been stuck for almost 1.5 years. the time it was the system that got you stuck. But I was not bothered. I was not worried because I know that at some point the team said there are some people that the system get them stuck. They are going to rectify it in due time. So why don't I wait patiently? So please, that's the little I have. Let us go back to our community, tell them to wait patiently. Whether these people explain to us, whether they do open minute January, whether they do it this month, whether they do it anytime they like. Brother, when you don't have the details, don't judge when you do not have all the facts. You are just working on assumptions. I wish some of us are invited to work with team with a project. You are going to
Mm-mm.
see that the sacrifice these people are making to make a project become successful into what any patience or any sacrifice you need to make to endure to the end. Believe me, you, many people that criticize Pi or that saves Pi, I know I'm in a community that if you talk about Pi like this, they will just shun you off
Um,
immediately.
Thanks, Ade. Sorry, Ade. We want to, because of time, we
Okay.
want to also
All
allow
right.
other people to speak.
Thank you very much
All
for the
right.
privilege. I
I'm sorry to
appreciate that.
interrupt you. Yeah, yeah. But thanks for your submission. It will be really inspiring, and I hope that it has made reason to the minds of pioneers. I would like Benjamin, like because of time, I think we want to be wrapping up this paper. I would like Benjamin to, also make commentary on this angle that we've been discussing on. I'm sure Benjamin will have some really great insight as well to steer our minds in the right direction. Benjamin, are you there?
Mr. Ben, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're asking for your submission on this thing that we've just been talking about as a way to close this space. Like we want to wrap up the space because of time. So as usual, you say now you be Baba.
Yes,
Sorry,
so
I've
now then be
not been
back.
hearing. I don't know if you guys can hear me loud and clear.
I can.
The
Yes, I
voice is
can.
even faint. I can hear Woody. I can hear Woody.
Okay.
We can hear you,
Hello.
Mr. Ben. We can hear you loud and clear.
So I want to believe a question was asked, right, Woody?
No, but basically we were discussing on what Mukwana had, set in motion, the sentiment regarding people who have like, should I say, emotionally frustrated with the delays or maybe of their KYC, some are even deleting their Pi app and blah blah blah. Yeah, so stuff like that.
Okay.
As if
Well,
that them
everybody.
might get the credit.
Um, I think the premise around most submission will always be the same. Uh, Patience and
Sorry, hold on. There's this effect in
a
the sound.
reservoir of
The
understanding.
service, your mic open. Could you mute your microphone? There's some effect in. Sorry. Let me mute everyone.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, Ben.
I think the premise revolves around what we have been saying. And I think acting better is a function of knowing better. Um, I think I was in a space probably last week, and one of the guys that was saying that um, if we do not go to open mainnet come January 1, the fault is from the core team. In the person submission, um, in the person submission, Um, Pioneers have done what they should do. Validators have done what they should do. The market is ready. In other words, we are 100% ready to go. And I asked him, really? Like, seriously, really? What's the reason why we have a lot of bottlenecks in the KYC? Is the aspect of the KYC that has to do with our involvement, we the users, and also we the validators. And if open mainnet is subject to three conditions, one of the conditions is KYC. That makes KYC very, very important future of the ecosystem development. And one thing that is core to the KYC is the fact that we are not looking at the KYC as a yet to be finished product. We kind of think KYC is a finished product, while the KYC itself is depending on us to come to fusion, depending on us to come to maturity. Probably many people don't know that at the end of the day, KYC is a Web3 machine learning identity verification application. And among all the KYC solutions, so when I begin to ask the questions now, which KYC solution that is machine learning powered? Go back to your exchanges. Go back to anywhere you have done KYC. That the finished product, the very KYC that you are using as a template to compare itself with the Pi Network's KYC, that KYC is machine learning powered. And that machine learning is operating above 99% accuracy. I did make this statement. Somebody at least understood. While we all know that the core team have made it sound and clear that our journey to ecosystem growth will involve us. That is the part of the core team that I wasn't all that okay with. Why am I saying so? Let's assume KYC was 100% done from the core team side. What will be the level of accuracy of our KYC? You guys will agree with me that as long as you send the right document, the servers in California will verify you. The servers in California will verify me. But the core team said no. This is a truly global identity verification solution that should be decentralized, powered by machine learning algorithm. Thus, our input is core. Our input is vital. If only we would do it right. This brings to the question of you have passed, you are brought back to tentative, you are requested for multiple instances of liveness checks. It's all because of redundant data. One thing that the solution want to build on is to build on trust data. And the machine learning algorithm is learning from us. But the truth of the matter is that we are not ready. If there's any person, if there's any aspect of the ecosystem that is mainnet ready, I think it's even the core team. So I told the person, okay, we're in December. What happens if 70% of all validations are wrong validations? 75% of all KYC applications are wrong data. Are we going to move forward in our goal for open mainnet or not? And the person said, we are not going to move forward. I told him why. He said, because validators are not validating rightly. I said, correct. And even the users are not uploading the right document. I said, correct. So if that's the case, who is responsible for not being mainnet ready? The core team? Well, don't you understand that at the machine learning level, that algorithm have to be 99.99 correct when it comes to data validity? You don't understand. I stand to be corrected. The Pi Network KYC is the only truly known KYC solution that is fit to be a business product. I stand to be corrected. It's the KYC that is fit to be business product. What do I mean? An institutional investor pretty much have realized we are in the post blockchain adoption era, wherein we now realize that blockchain's use cases truly goes beyond currency markets. Blockchain use cases goes through electronic governance. Blockchain use case goes through education. Blockchain use case goes to transportation. Blockchain use case military. Blockchain use case electionary voting, and and then a country is thinking of having a blockchain powered identity verification exercise for her citizens. Which of the KYC solutions you have known thus far were 3.0 compatible that will be your first option? Now, the more you begin to think, then you begin to think sensitive matters around that solution. First, privacy. Are you sure that those alternative KYC solution will do excellent with the identity information of the citizens that will be verified? So when we capture your data, what do we do with the data? Which solution actually have proven that your data is private, the scale is scalable? I'm not referring to those tapping apps kind of verification that they will require you to spend, to burn some Solana or to burn some Ton. For the sake of verification, we have said this multiple times. The Pi Network KYC is standard, is excellent. I haven't seen a KYC that the machine learning algorithm will redact your information even before it leaves your phone. There's nobody here who has done KYC. At the point of submitting the final button, he didn't see a redacted copy of his ID where name is cleaned, address is clean, bio data is clean, what we call personal identifiable information, all are erased. Only the picture ID and the picture of the background of your ID. But again, it will require what we call a decentralized consensus for us to go beyond that. This is why the cropped image have to be sent to someone who is a validator in that region to verify that is the person in this cropped image of this ID vis-a-vis the person in this liveness check. Are they one and the same? Second validation option, the background of your ID will be cropped and sent to another validator. Is this background a typical driver's license, an image of a typical driver's license of X country, a typical of an international passport of a Y country, a typical of a national ID of Z country? So while this consensus activity at point A and point B, vis-a-vis liveness checks, all move towards one direction. We are generating valid data for a machine learning algorithm who is listening and learning. Why? At maturity, the application will stand alone on its own, picked data, redact the data from the pool of valid data that has been generated all through the years, courtesy of what we have done as validators. That application does nothing but what? Make informed decision that yes, this is a valid ID. No, this is not a valid ID. This very ID that is not a valid ID, what is your reason? The reasons that we are giving at validation at this phase of the KYC is pretty much a pool of the reasons wherein the machine learning algorithm will give as the reason for rejecting a certain KYC or the reason for putting it back for resubmission. Yet, open mainnet at this phase of our development is sort of, or rather KYC in this era of our development is key to open mainnet, as long as valid, as long as migration, as long as ecosystem apps. Probably that's the reason why we have been saying be patient, be patient. All our criticisms honestly are valid though. All our criticisms are valid if only the KYC application is fully matured. If only the KYC application is fully matured and we are integral parts of the development of that KYC. It is not possible that if tomorrow the KYC application turns out to be structurally flawed, data with too much data redundancy, and will be excluded, we will be the reason why the data that makes up the machine learning algorithm of that KYC solution, we will be the reason why it is redundant. This is the reason why it has conflictory data. Will be the reason why we're the one who generated the data at KYC application, and we are the ones also who verified that data that was generated at KYC application. Yet nobody is taking responsibility for the many cycles of redundant data that we have generated towards the KYC process. Nobody is taking responsibility for the nonsense we do at KYC applications. No one is taking responsibility for the nonsense we do at validation in the name that we are helping our countryman or countrywoman. But we have loads of words against the courting. In fact, there's a pressure group that are on standby, and they are so pessimistic, waiting, hoping, and praying that come January 1, we are not in open mainnet. That's where Nicholas and his team will see blue black. Yet, we will say, be patient. But being patient pretty much may not be significant if you do not understand the process. Thus, knowing better, directly or indirectly, will help you and me act better. I mean, have we made it very clear to one another that we are just beginning a new phase? We kind of like feel as if open mainnet is the end of the destination. No, open mainnet is just a beginning of a phase of the ecosystem growth. Oh, I mean, you're expecting everything should be clickable, everything should be awesome. Like, which of the web technologies that was 100% mature at its inception? This is a solution that has gone furthest in advocacy. This is a solution that have gone furthest in collaboration. This is a blockchain solution that has gone furthest in partnerships around real services, around real goods, around real people, around real structures. What do we mean by real people, real structures? You and me are real. Regulators who are significant to ensuring approval of based on policy are real. Institutional investors who pretty much produce the physical goods and the physical services are real. So when a blockchain solution is not only centered on users, but also centered on the developer community, and also centered on institutional investors, and also trying to look for that that bridge wherein we can bring in regulators and policymakers, which we call compliance standard, so that these four different stakeholder narratives will move in one direction. We also have negative features associated with us, because we kind of feel that we users are the best thing that's ever happened to Web 3.0. We have bad players among us. But what have we understood all this while? The core team has been engaging us to bring the best out of us. Same thing does the core team are doing with other players as far as global adoption is concerned. Haven't you heard that some people are not even happy that the grace period was extended for another 30 days? Like, why will you be sad? Now, folks like you who haven't passed KYC are now given a period to ensure that we achieve global adoption. Who told you you alone can achieve global adoption? Who told you you alone can achieve financial inclusion? Alone. Yet, because an announcement came that the days will be extended by another 30 days, everybody went ranting. Everybody, or rather, sorry for using the word everybody, some people were ranting, some people were all pessimistic. I was sick and tired of reading submissions that prove these folks do not align with the mission and the vision of this blockchain narrative. So, as I conclude, knowing better will help you a long way to acting better. Understanding how it works and benchmarking how things work with how far we have come from. I mean, the adoption phase, the test net phase, the enclosed mainnet phase, and pretty much we're about entering the opened mainnet phase. What I mean, is it that we did not, is it that there is nothing we cannot pick positives from the adoption phase when we're less than 10 million active pioneers? And when we reach 10 million, we then enter the testnet phase. Is it that there is no positive that we can take from the testnet phase, the hackathons, the KYC? I mean, have we forgotten that IoT was actually an idea that was brainstormed for KYC? Do you know how much worth in millions IoT would have been richer courtesy of us? Yet IoT is not decentralized. IoT definitely is a centralized KYC solution that was ready to charge each of us $1. A lot of people were like, nah, it doesn't matter. There are a million plus people that $1 matters if that will be the cost for being mainnet ready. $1 matters a whole lot, but 1 pi wouldn't matter because the solution have given them room to earn 1 pi. It was at testnet pretty much the whole idea of this narrative of KYC began. and this solution is way more mature than it was 2 years ago. It then writes, gives an outlook that it will be way mature than it is today, 2 years from now. One thing that will be a big blow on our faces is when at maturity, this KYC solution is not fit to be a business product at the Web 2.0 industry as well as the Web 3.0, regardless of use case. It will be a failure on our parts. So while we wait for open mainnet, let's pretty much debrief ourselves. Let's take stock of how far we've come from. Let's glance through a paragraph, 2 paragraphs, 3 paragraphs of the white paper. Let's read articles around the grace period, articles around partnerships, articles around the known existing solutions built on the blockchain. Do you know what Fireside is? Do you know what Profiles is? Do you know the ecosystem dApps that are being built? What are they? What picture are they? What picture are they kind of like? What outlook, what idea are they trying to give for the future? How well positioned are you for that future? Will you be asking woody questions 2 years from now? The very questions you're asking right now? Let's calm down. I actually didn't want to talk because from the pitch of my sound, you can feel a sense of anger and bitterness and disappointment in my submission. And if you guys observe, recently I haven't been caught up in either writing a tweet or about trying to make people get it, because that's what we've been doing all this while. And even 365 days, we have been having spaces so that you can get it. And the last 30 days of the 365 days, you still don't get it. Like, seriously, who are you? Or rather, what are you? In fact, I'm struggling to ensure that I use the right words. We have said it. When you are already in mainnet, you've passed your KYC, and you see that you are brought back to tentative, you only need to do one thing: wait. Permit me to say some sort of internal cleansing. I used my experience on database administration to paint the narrative. One thing that is important that you guys will understand is a future called non-repudiation. Non-repudiation is me saying I am who I am. Woody is saying he's who he is. Ade is saying is who he is. So who am I, Benjamin? I am a validator. I am only going to be my data in the validation space as far as KYC is concerned is if I continue to validate rightly. So I now validated, let's say for instance, Ibrahim correctly. I validated Zillion correctly. I validated Cardinal correctly, right? And these guys passed their KYC because I was their validator. All of a sudden, I began to generate data mismatch by intentionally validating Ethan wrongly, intentionally validating Izundu wrongly, by intentionally validating Temitope wrongly, and a certain degree of data that pretty much is not what should be expected of me was generated by me. The question mark then appears on me. How true I am. It's an algorithm thing. It has nothing to do with emotions. The machine learning algorithm will now put, a gray, question mark on me. How sure am I that the very Ibrahim that I validated right, I actually validated him rightly, or rather it was sort of like a guesswork? So to clean the system, we may push Ibrahim back for a different ID to validate, right or wrong. It is the machine learning. The whole goal is to achieve 99.99% valid data. Web 3.0, ladies and gentlemen, is a data-driven world. No room for error. No room for second guesses. Machine learning is not emotions, guys. So when someone sees Ada applying for KYC, Ada is a Nigerian. I'm a validator, I'm a Nigerian. So Ada actually uploaded a premium name slip, but under the team national ID. And I begin to think on behalf of Ada, concluding that, she just make a little silly mistake by uploading the same correct ID, yes, but under the wrong team. So when they ask me, is this a national ID, a picture of a national ID, and you know that is a picture of a premium name slip, you ought to say no. Is it that national ID and premium name slip are not the same thing? They are the same thing, but they are not the same format of the same ID. And you are building data so that the machine learning algorithm will know how to separate premium name slip from national ID. And be able to separate national ID from standard ID or standard name, and be able to separate standard name from driver's license. No emotions. So from a database administration perspective, I can pretty much pull back some valid data back into the query cycle. Because when that valid data get revalidated rightly, it adds more weight. It adds more weight to the fact that it was actually validated rightly in the previous cycle. It's just that whoever that was the previous validator, the more he doesn't do the right thing that he ought to do, the more the issue of non-repudiation, or rather the more he becomes repudiate, the more he's not trustworthy, the more the issue of the trust score becomes. You guys don't understand all those things. So if your trust score is way below 85, problem man. And we have people at 60 something trust score, yet we want to brag that we are validators. So tentative, back to tentative. I'm sorry, for instance, most especially if you actually want to be a validator. But if truly you want to be a validator, your motivation shouldn't be the pie you should gain from validation. Your motivation should be that validation is done rightly. And that pretty much, I'm not speaking on behalf of the core team. I'm someone who have experience in database and information systems management. And I tell you, this is pretty much my little way of verifying that everything is check. And if it happens that way, it's a feedback that is just a matter of time. The algorithm will pick the pool of resubmitted query for revalidation, and they're going to inspect it in the nitty-gritty detail. And let's not forget, all these things came when we were clamoring for increase in KYC. Thus, we had what we call the mass KYC. And we are not owning it up. We are not taking responsibility for the fact that the core team listened to us. by creating the mass KYC. And the mass KYC blood opened the floodgate for all data, correct data, valid data, and even wrong data. Let it not happen that the machine learning algorithm will be acting like a software or an algorithm where the head they touch. It will not be nice for me, and I believe it's not going to be nice for you. So please, let's be patient. Let's keep on building and let's keep on learning. I didn't expect I'm going to talk this long, but I'm sort of not that happy about the feedbacks we are seeing. Thank you very much, Woody.
Oh man, thank you, hey, hundredfold, Benjamin. Very, very, very important, and many angles that you have touched that I think pioneers need to hear probably every week. They need to keep hearing this point to remind them that it's not just about opening your app and mine and speculating about the value of your Pi and waiting for Pi-Cotton to do the work and launch the network for you so that you can cash out. There's actually so much going on behind to actually build value into the network for that your Pi to even be valuable in the first place. And you just gotta appreciate it and will question yourself, well, what are you doing to contribute? How much are you actually contributing to the achievement of these goals for the whole network? All right. So this is not the time for people to be falling and spreading pessimism all around the community, whereas you're supposed to actually be supporting according to whatever it is that the core team have spelled out, maybe as regards timeline and all that. So I believe I implore rather every pioneer to take this last 23, 24 days of the year to actually promote the open network launch, the grace period, whatever it is that you can use to add create hype for the network. Hype also brings value. Right, it shows that you believe in the project. It shows that the community is very, very confident. Put positivity forward for the network. At the end of the day, it's still you guys that will benefit from it. Right, so we need to support the process that we have left in achieving the open network. There are developers out there building apps. Right, how is the community supporting these utilities that are supposed to actually make the network more valuable and in return make your Pi more valuable? Give support to this. All right, there are so many pioneers out there that actually need your encouragement, need you to put them on the right path, and not for you to reinforce their doubts, their skepticism, and their negative sentiments. Not for you to reinforce that. Just like Benjamin's submission, I'm sure would have successfully turned around some people who may have had negative sentiment regarding the whole thing. That's what the leader is supposed to be doing, guiding the community into the right thoughts and the right actions. Right. So we all need as community members to do that for ourselves, to do that for the network. Let us keep on putting out positivity, and let's create some kind of good anticipation for the end of the year, as that is what the Pi Core team has said to us. So we should at least give credibility to their word, and let's see how it plays out. All right. I'm sorry, because of time, I don't want to bring in more speakers because it just keep on going on and on. Next week we'll have another space, right, to catch up on the new updates and how close we are to the end of the year, so we can come back next week with more submissions. Apologies for not taking more speaker requests, and thank you all very, very much for showing up to this space and making these submissions very, very wholesome. And thank you to the speakers. You all have done a very, very great job, I'm sure, in affecting the minds of pioneers. And this is why we keep doing these things, so that we can affect our community members for the benefit of the network.